So we're going to be reading a story together, but I'm going to ask you some questions before. Give that paper. So, my first question is, do you know what a doctor does?
Yeah.
What do they do?
They help people?
Yeah, like if they're sick, right?
Yes, he is.
Do you know what country we live in? That's the state.
America?
Yeah, the United States of America. Good job. Do you know what football is?
Yeah.
Have you played it?
No.
You've never played it, but you know how it's played, right? Do you like soccer or football better?
Soccer.
Have you heard of the country, or not country, the continent, Africa?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about it?
They say like the Great Lake is like a
Not really. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's it for my questions. So now we're going to read together. How we're going to do it is we're going to break it up. So we're going to do this paragraph together,
Oh.
this paragraph, and then, so there's 5 altogether. So the first, I'm going to read you this first paragraph, and I'm just going to have you follow along with your finger. So, do you know what fluency is before we read it?
Yeah, it's like when you read.
Oh, maybe it's like a pretty
when you
strong
have to
one.
Yeah, kind of. So fluency is kind of about like how you read. So do you read like a robot? Like, oh, I like to do. You don't read like that, right? You want to read with like how you're talking to someone. So that's kind of what fluency is. So we're going to be reading this a lot of times because we're going to practice reading with fluency, and then I'm going to have you read it to Miss A. Okay? So I'm just going to read it and you can follow along. There are some harder words in here. The ones that are underlined are our vocabulary words, and we're going to be writing those at the end. On the first day of school, Roy's teacher asked him to write a letter about himself. Roy was glad to have the chance to talk about his life in Africa. Roy had been born in the United States, but his family had lived in a small town in Africa for 3 years. Now his family had moved back to the United States. That's it for the first one, and then I'm going to read it with you. So we're going to do it together. Ready?
That's all.
Oh, sorry, up here. We're going to reread this one. I know. My bad. Whenever you're ready. Ready?
On
The first day of school, Roy's teacher asked him to write a letter about himself. Roy was glad to have the chance to talk about his life in Africa.
Roy had been born in the United States, but his family
had lived
lived
in a small town in Africa for 3 years.
Now his family had moved
back
to the United States.
Do you want to read it on your own? Do you want to read this one on your own now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
On the first day of school on the first day of school, Roy's teacher asked him to write a letter about himself. Roy was glad to have the chance to talk about his life in Africa. Roy had been born in the United States, but his family had lived in a small town in Africa for 3 years. Now his family had moved back to the United States.
Perfect. Good job. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question about that one to see if you remember what you read about. So the first question is, the main character, what did he have to do on the first day of school?
Write a letter about himself.
Good job. Perfect. All right, let's go on to the second paragraph. Do you feel like we can just read it together once and then you can read it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Ready? Roy's stepmom was a doctor.
She worked in a clinic where she treated sick people and gave
immunizations. It's kind of hard. Ready? Let's say it together. Immunizations. Nice. His dad taught music
at the school
Roy and his brother attended.
Roy and his friends played sports together and practiced playing the instruments his dad taught them. Football was his favorite sport, and there always seemed to be a game going after school.
All right, you want to read it again by yourself? Go ahead.
Roy's
step.
stepmom was a doctor. She worked in a clinic where she treated sick people and gave them
Immunization. Good job.
His dad taught music at the school Roy and his brothers attended. Roy and his friends played sports together and practiced playing the instruments his dad taught them. Football was his favorite sport, and there always seemed to be a game going after school.
Good job. Let's do the next one together.
In the letter,
We'll start over. In his letter,
Roy wrote about his life and that he missed playing football the most. He had seen American football, and it was a very different game. It was hard to figure out why
they were chasing
each other and when to cheer. He handed the letter to his
You can keep going.
He handed the letter to his teacher the next morning. The afternoon, as he was learning, his teacher called him over. Another boy was standing next to her. Roy, this is
I never watched the whole movie.
Spencer.
Spencer.
There you go.
His teacher said he's going to introduce you to the soccer team. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, let's stop there. I'm gonna read this part right here. Do you know what these little marks mean, the quotation marks?
Like if it's a name, you have to do uppercase.
Yes, that's true. But these little marks right here that say, like right before Roy, that means that someone's talking. So we have to try to say it like as if we're talking to somebody. So I'm gonna read it for you and you can kind of listen to how I say it.
Wait, what one?
We're gonna go right here. Roy, this is Spencer, his teacher said. He's going to introduce you to the soccer team. I think you'll enjoy it. Do you hear how I kind of talk like as if I was talking to someone? Like this comma tells me to like pause, and then this is a new sentence. I'm gonna read it one more time, okay? Roy, this is Spencer, his teacher said. He's going to introduce you to the soccer team. I think you'll enjoy it. So the teacher is talking to Roy about Spencer. All right, let's have you read right here and then try to go to the end by yourself, okay?
He handed the letter to his teacher the next morning. That afternoon, as he was leaving, his teacher called him over. Another boy was standing next to her. Roy, this is Spencer. His teacher said he's going to introduce you to the soccer team. I think you'll enjoy it.
Good job.
Spencer smiled at Roy and led him outside to the field where a group of kids were playing. The teacher said you call this football in Africa, but here it's called soccer, said Spencer. Roy looked around. The kids were playing the same game he had played back in Africa. He couldn't wait to join them.
Great job. You sounded really fluent in that last part. All right, my next question for you is, do you remember what Roy's dad did for work?
He played music. He went to his brother and Roy's school, and he was a music teacher.
Good job. And then the last question is, what game was Roy excited to play in school?
Like soccer, but they call it football in Africa.
Nice. Yeah. Did you know that before reading this?
And plus there's a movie.
That they called it football, but it's really soccer in Africa? I know, isn't that kind of cool? Kind of weird. It can be confusing. All right, so good job on the questions. You got them all ready. So now we're going to copy down. I'm going to have you use this paper. We're going to copy down these 4 vocabulary words, and then we're going to define them together.
Descriptions. I clicked on the thing.
United States.
I'm looking for actual size. 42.1 feet. That's long. Yeah, like is it chubby?
Perfect. And then I'm gonna have you skip down to the next line so you have room to define it. So then we're gonna do Flint. You wanna do Africa? We can do Africa too.
Bigger anaconda?
I know, I
Bigger
highlighted it.
anaconda. How to Tanaboa. Oh my gosh. I mean, if that's really how big they were compared to like.
Perfect. And then skip to the next one. I'm gonna do clinic.
Okay, I think that's cool too. Titanoboa. Titan.
You remember how to say that word?
I know. This dude is cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Immunization.
okay.
So you can start by looking at this part and go immune, just immunization.
Correct.
Good job.
So I would do like pull up like a Google and then type in Titanoboa and then there's a ton of different stuff.
IONS. Instruments is the last one. Perfect. So we're gonna talk about it together. Do you remember what United States is? Like, how could we
Yes, this Titanoboa
explain that to someone who's never heard that before?
Like you can say it's
Despite anacondas
state
being the largest country,
country.
Yeah, so it's actually just the country. So you want to put, what do you think? What would you put?
and then Titanoboa.
United States is a country.
Perfect. So let's just put that.
Hello, how are you doing? We're looking up Titanoboa.
Country C-O, N, and then Sherman, what do you think?
It is gigantic.
It's actually wide, but it's fine. I know it's good. We're not really focusing on spelling. It's okay. Africa. Remember what I called it? It's kind of a big word. It started with a C. A continent. So you can put C-O-N-T. Perfect. And then clinic. How would you describe that? But where a doctor is. Where E-R-E. W-H-E-R-E. You have it right. I know, sorry. Try to spell the rest of your name. Doesn't have to be perfect. Good job. Good correction. Duct or immunization.
Like helping people.
You go to the doctor, you get like a
Oh, shot.
yeah, it's a shot or like medicine, but we can just put a shot. Perfect. And then you know the last one.
Oh, like music.
The instruments do what?
Make sound.
Yeah.
Play music.
Yeah. Perfect.